The movie starts with Akira and his mother moving into a new apartment. They have just moved into an apartment and getting acquainted with their neighbors next door. While moving, they carry several large suitcases. Surprisingly, the contents of these suitcases are not clothes or belongings, but 3 of his siblings who have been intentionally hidden inside. This secret arrangement is necessary because only Akira and his mother are officially registered as residents. The other siblings must remain hidden to avoid being discovered by neighbors and authorities, as they are not supposed to be living there legally. Since the mother claims that she only has one child, Akira, she is very busy with her work and often comes home late. When their mom working late, Akira took on the responsibility of looking after his brothers and sisters. They'd all pitched in with household chores, with Akira handling grocery shopping and cooking, while Kyoko took care of the laundry. Despite not attending school like their peers, Akira and his siblings were eager to learn. They pleaded with their mother to let them go to school, but she remained firm in her decision to keep them at home. One day, Akira's mother revealed that she had found someone she loved. She believed this man would make a good father for her children and promised they'd live in a big house where they could all go to school. She also mentioned Kyoko could pursue her piano hobby. She asked Akira to be patient until they could get married. However, their mother unexpectedly left a letter saying she was going away for a while, leaving behind some money. She didn't explain further. From then on, Akira had to take care of his siblings alone, as their mother didn't return. He had to inform his siblings the news to them that their mother might be gone for a long time. As time passed, Akira took over more responsibilities like paying bills and doing the shopping. One day, while he was at the store, some kids harassed him, slipping unpaid items into his bag. When he left, the alarm sounded, and he was accused of stealing. Thankfully, a cashier guard intervened, knowing Akira was being bullied, and gave him some food as an apology. Days went by and Akira kept trying to contact his mother, but she never responded. Desperate for money, he turned to his father. Unfortunately, his father also doesn't have any money, because his money has been used up by his father's girlfriend. Instead of receiving help, Akira ended up giving his father money, but he still needed funds to care for himself and his siblings. As the days passed, they managed to scrape by for a month with the money they had, but sadly their mother still hadn't come back. When a month had gone by, their funds started running low. But finally, their mother returned bearing gifts. Akira and Kyoko weren't sure how to feel about her return, as she didn't seem remorseful. Not long after, the children saw their mother packing again. She planned to leave once more, leaving them behind. Akira had to step up again as the eldest sibling. Their mother then promises that she will return when Christmas comes. Finally, Akira accompanied his mother to the airport after sharing a meal at a restaurant. During the meal, he gathered the courage to ask about school. He wondered when they could go, but his mother dismissed the idea, saying school wasn't important. Akira couldn't help but see his mother as selfish, blaming his father for disappearing. After their meal, they parted ways at the airport. His mother promised to send money regularly and return soon. Once again, Akira and his siblings were left alone. Each had their own tasks, and they managed quite well. Days passed by and suddenly Akira decided to call his mother's office, hoping to speak with her. However, he learned she had quit a month ago, leaving him speechless. That night, they had a simple dinner of noodles, but they remained content. However, as New Year's Eve approached, their mother still hadn't returned, despite promising to be back for Christmas. The next day, Akira met a woman whose name he didn't know yet. He introduced himself, and she kindly taught him to read. It turned out he needed help because he couldn't understand the writing on an envelope he held. The envelope was from his mother, sent to their home, containing their names. Excited to learn their names, Akira rushed home and shared the envelopes with his siblings. Each envelope held the same amount of money. Kyoko immediately decided to save for a piano, while Akira wanted to buy a baseball glove because he loved baseball. With money in hand, Akira and Yuki prepared to go shopping for their desires. It was Yuki's birthday, so Akira planned to take her out for some fun. Although Yuki hoped their mother would return, Akira sadly told her it wasn't likely. Since they didn't want the neighbors to know they were sneaking out, Akira and Yuki had to be careful. However, they were caught by a neighbor while leaving the house. Akira quickly explained they were going to the station to meet their mother, claiming Yuki was his cousin staying overnight. Eventually, they managed to leave and enjoyed walking around, experiencing the night for the first time. The next day, while shopping, Akira ran into some kids who used to bully him, but now read comics at the mini-market. Surprisingly, they became friends and Akira started spending time with them. Unfortunately, he got carried away and spent his money playing games with them. They play until late at night, and Akira neglects his siblings because he is busy with his new friends. Not long after, Akira started feeling taken advantage of by his new friends. They often came over, making a mess in his house, and Akira ended up spending his money on games and treats for them, despite his limited funds. As the mess grew, his siblings remained silent. His friends from the minimarket even tried to teach him how to steal, but Akira was afraid and refused. This caused his friends to abandon him. Then, one day when Akira went to their school, his friends ignored him, criticizing his house for being messy and smelling bad, even though he had just bought a new game for them. Things started to change when Akira met Saki, a girl from junior high school who was always alone and bullied by her friends. Meanwhile, back at home, the house became even messier, with trash piling up everywhere, because no one takes care of it. One day, utility workers arrived at their house to collect the monthly fees for electricity and water. They stayed hidden, afraid to face the reality outside. As the money from their mother dwindled, Akira tried to find a job at the minimarket, but was too young to work. Eventually, he returned home, worried about how to pay for electricity, water, and other bills. Seeing Akira's confusion, Kyoko gave him her savings to help. Then, one day, they gathered the courage to venture out. Akira took his siblings to the minimarket to buy food and treats, using Kyoko's money for groceries instead of bills. They also spent time playing in the park, where they noticed wild plants with seeds. They collected them to plant at home, along with some soil. Back home, they started gardening, using empty instant noodle pots as planters. That night, the electricity went out in their house because Akira hadn't paid the electricity, water, and other bills. Now he had to fetch water from the park and wash clothes there too. It was there that he met Saki. As time went on, Akira grew closer to Saki, and she bonded with his siblings. They played together, but their neglect grew worse. Clothes smelled, the house was messier, and there was no electricity, no water, and even meals had to be secretly given by one of the cashiers at the minimarket Akira often visited. Until finally a woman came to their house to demand rent. At home, there were only Kyoko, Yuki, and Saki. The one assumed that they were Akira's cousins, and they didn't know anything, so the woman left. Finally, Saki learned of their hardships and decided to help by going out to karaoke with a man for money. When Akira found out, he was very surprised to see that and immediately ran away, leaving Saki alone. With no food, Shigeru even ate paper. When Akira returned from buying food, Shigeru was gone, playing with his friends. Akira was angry at him for leaving without telling anyone. The following day, they were unsure what to do. Everything was chaotic, and Shigeru was also difficult to advise. He kept wasting water to water the plants, even though water was hard to find. In frustration, Akira decided to sell their mother's belongings from the closet, but Kyoko objected. Furious, Akira stormed out of the house. At school, he found solace watching a baseball game, but abruptly left when he heard about Yuki. Yuki had fallen from her chair and remained motionless. Unable to reach their mother, Akira rushed to the minimarket for medicine, but it was too late. Devastated, Akira sought out Saki, hoping to borrow money he'd never received before. Feeling desperate, Akira sought to borrow money to buy Yuki's favorite food, hoping it would wake her up, because he didn't know what else to do to make Yuki wake up. When he returned home, he found a letter from his mother, urging him to take care of his siblings. As the day passed, Yuki remained unresponsive and eventually passed away. That night, Akira bravely packed her belongings and placed her in a suitcase. He decided to bury her near the airport, far from home, and had to take a train to get there. The funeral took place quietly at night, with only Akira and Saki present. Akira chose to bury Yuki near the airport because he had promised to take her there but never got the chance. The next day, after the funeral, Akira and Saki returned home by train. They continued to survive without their parents, often begging for food at the minimarket. Saki now joined Akira and his siblings. No neighbors knew about Yuki's death, and their lives became even more neglected. Moral lesson from the story: when someone promises to come back, they might not return, just like a boomerang that got lost. So always double-check your promises, and maybe keep your boomerang tied to a string.